Okay, so I got a request for some Smith's patches on the GT-100, so I'll go through 3 of those here on this video. The first one is a clean chorus sound, which I use probably on 75% of the songs that I play in with the Smiths tribute band here in St. Louis. And then I'll show How Soon Is Now and Queen Is Dead, which has some wah settings, even if you don't play the Smiths, that could be helpful as you set up some other patches. I'm running these patches with a Rickenbacker 12-string through a Vox AC-15 straight through, so I'm not using the preamps on the GT-100. If you want to go direct and use some of the preamps for the clean, you could try the JC-120 or some of the Fender models, and the Natural Clean Advanced preamp is also a pretty good one to start out with, just to see. So we'll go, I use these in manual mode, and I'll go through the effects on the clean one. Use this for songs like Still Ill. And William, It Was Really Nothing. I didn't play those parts perfectly, but anyway, here we go. So starting at the beginning, use the compressor, use the Boss Comp sustain of 60 with an attack of only 10. I don't want to squash the notes too much, and a level of 30, and a tone of +8, just to keep it on the bright side of the tone, even though I've got a 12-string. Next, I'm running a clean boost, and this is really here only for soloing purposes, so that I have that OD solo that I can go to real quick. And I think that makes the patch sound pretty good. So I'm not using much drive on it, only 15. Again, a +7 on the tone, 60 on the effect level, just a little bit of bottom, 70 on the direct, and a solo level of 50. I find that's enough volume for solos, as far as I can tell. Sometimes I'll turn it down to maybe 40 if I don't want to be that heavy in the mix. I'm not using FX2 or the preamps, the noise suppressors. I think I've got those on the default. And then for the EQ, this is dependent on the guitar. I also use a Gibson ES-137 on some patches, just because it's easier to play, and it also has a really good sound for big chords, like when we play Paint a Vulgar Picture. It sounds good on that. And also the picking part on What Difference Does It Make sounds pretty good on that. So I roll off the highs of 2, I give it a little boost of 2. +4 on at 500 Hertz. That's really for the 12-string to bring out some of the low mids and thicken it up. And I do give a boost at 2 kilohertz. Little boost, 6 decibels there. Again, that's guitar dependent. And I like a boost in the 2 to 2.5 kilohertz region, just to bring out the cutting tone of the guitar a little bit. I have a low cut of 100 Hertz. You really don't need anything below that with guitar. High cut of 8 kilohertz. Don't really need that, but I have it in there. I don't think the amp is going to pick up that many high frequencies anyway. They kind of get a roll off after a certain point. The foot volume is just the default setting. And then for the chorus, which mode doesn't really matter a whole lot. I probably should have it mono. I'm not running it stereo, but anyway, I got a rate of 40, a depth of 50, effect level of 100 there. That's pretty strong chorus, and I may turn that down just based on how it all sounds. there. 420, that's roughly a quarter note delay for most of the songs. Not much feedback, 15 and 50 on the effect level. It's got a high cut in there of 4 kilohertz, but that's not gonna, you're not gonna notice that a whole lot. Then with reverb, I have a plate reverb, 3-second reverb time, 100 milliseconds on the pre-delay, and effect level of 30 there. The pre-delay just lets your note ring a little bit more before the reverb kicks in. It can keep the original sound from getting washed out too much. I have the send and return on just because I sometimes use the Roland PK5 MIDI pedals through a synthesizer, and I'll actually run it into the GT-100 basically so I can just control that volume. I can also run straight to the board, but I like to hear a little bit out of my amp on some gigs just to make sure it can be heard at the right level. That's a neat trick with the GT-100. You can use a send and return for an additional input. But you have to set the mode to direct there. And then the return level is how high that mix is going to be. And then master, I haven't changed that since the version 2 update. And there you go for the clean patch. And next we'll do How Soon Is Now. Let me get out of that mode. Okay, for How Soon Is Now, again, I'm not using the preamps, and I don't have anything before the split. I have the, in manual mode, the Excel key is switching path A and B. So on path A, I have the main part for the verses. So the settings for that one, got the OD1, 40 on the drive, +1 on tone, effect level at 70. That's a little more distortion than you probably need on it, but I'd like to add a little bit more to some of the songs so that everything isn't that clean chorus in our set. We'll go through the rest of that. So the OD1, with the 12 string, I really crank up the bottom on that to get a heavier sound. I don't have any direct mix on that. And a solo level of 50, but I don't use it. Noise suppressor, threshold of 50, release 0. Keep some of that. You can hear that tremolo going through the amp a little bit. Then I use the FX2 for the tremolo. Wave shape of 6, a rate of 85, a depth of 80, and a level of 50. So I got that timing and depth as close to the recording as I could. Now, switching to channel B, I'll go through that sound real quick. So for the chorus, we got, excuse me. So I have a clean boost there, drive of 30, tone 9, effect level of 90, and that's mostly to get that sound level up to where the preamp, or excuse me, the path A is. So that's mainly for a volume boost, and then some chorus there, rate of 19, depth of 80, and 100 on the effect level. Sounds pretty good to my ears. I won't go through all the EQ because that's different for any guitar. And then delay, got 340 milliseconds, feedback of 15, and a level of 60. It just helps it thicken up the sound a little bit. And then for the reverb, I have the hall reverb on, and I don't have Johnny Marr on his video for the GT-100 talks about having a control for switching the reverb type from a plate to or from a hall to a plate sound when he goes with the chorus. I haven't got that fancy with it yet. I'm happy with the sounds, but you could do that with a control assign and change the reverb type as well as the tremolo and the other effects going on. So there it is for How Soon Is Now. And that slide guitar part, I don't have a second guitarist, but I'll play that part on the MIDI synth pedals at the same time of doing this. It's a lot of fun. So next I'll do The Queen Is Dead, which is a pretty basic patch. Not too much fancy going on here. Take off my capo. So I'm just using the Rat drive pedal. Drive a 20, tone a 7, effect level a 50. -2 on the bottom end. I've set this up for the Gibson guitar, so that's why the settings are a little different. I've got a 20 direct mix in there, solo level of 50, but I don't use it. And then the channel is split just to add. I tried something having a little chorus on the added in on channel B, and then using the mixer to tweak that a little bit. So it's spread evenly between A and B. So it's essentially adding chorus at half the amount that I have in there. I've got the analog delay in there with a dotted eighth, but it's such a low level, don't really notice it. I probably copied that from another patch. And then I've got some reverb, but what could be useful even if you don't play this song is the wah setting. So I've got the Cry Baby wah type. Right now the pedal is all the way down, and you'll see when I bring the pedal up that pedal now turns on. So I do not have to hit a button over here and then engage the wah. You can do it just like that. I'll show you how to do it. I also noticed that to my ears, the wah pedal really hit the sweet spot of where it wanted to be in a very narrow range. So for some of that path on the pedal, it didn't do a whole lot. So what you can do there is change the pedal min and the pedal max to kind of cut out that part of the pedal path that's not doing a whole lot, whether it's all the way down or all the way up. So I'm basically cutting 8% on either side, and that makes more control on the pedal, I think. Maybe some of you have found that out using this pedal yourself, that only part of the range is really doing a lot of that wah-wah to the sound, and that's how you can change that. Effect level of 100, direct of 0, and then on the control for this, we'll go to that. So what I wanted to do is have the pedal turn on the wah whenever it's anything but all the way down. So that part in Queen Is Dead where it's between, there's a little break between the lyrics where it goes over the chords. Let's see, it's A, G sharp minor, and G. Anyway, I won't bother you with the chords if I remember them anyway. So for the expression pedal control, I want that pedal to control a wah function. And so the assign number 1, it's going to have the assign turned on. The source will be the expression pedal, and it's going to be momentary on the source mode. It's going to target the pedal effects. Remember, that target can be the overdrive, reverb, whatever you want. This is targeting the pedal effects. It's going to make it switch between on and off because I had it toggled. The minimum, so I want everywhere that pedal is, from all the way up to just almost all the way down, I want that to be on, and then the maximum will be off. And so for that low range, Roland uses 0 to 127 a lot for their range of digital parameters. So everything from 0 to 126 on this pedal, let me strum a chord, is going to be the pedal on, and then as soon as that hits point 127, digitally speaking, meaning it's all the way down, that wah is off. So I'll hit the chord and... So again, I use that for the Queen is Dead song, and it's a handy patch to have programmed in so you can use that other places where you use the wah and you just want to be able to step on the pedal and have it work, and that's it. So hopefully, whether you like the Smiths or not, these were helpful to programming the unit, and best of luck.